It is time for some Counter-Strike. Let's go. It's Nuke.
Alrighty. Grand final. Spot at Dallas for both of these teams that have been overseas attendees, nading straight over the court, kicking things off with some annex pressure, but the rest of the teams going straight through ramp into a full snap. All of the CTs here. Good trades coming out. Liazz just so sharp with the USP, though, almost takes PZ with him. It's messy. But after a bit of a reset, looking like the CTs have got this one under control, Dion.
Mate, they've got ghost guns at the moment right now, and they're making it work. They're making it wonderful. A gorgeous read from Grayhound. And we just put a stopper down on what VERTEX were trying to throw at them. Pilski PZ with 18 HP. Bit of a roughie.
No, I can't do it. Sorry. I like Pineapple Zip as much as the next bloke, but I just don't think it's happening for him. It was a very nice ramp stack out of Grayhound. Beautiful read from the boys. Pretty split at the moment. You can see pretty safe positioning, Alistair. Oh my God. Wait, why would I ever talk smack about PZ? He's cracked as he is jacked. Goes to the chillest restaurants to hang with the freshest dudes.
Well, he's going to get a bomb plant, which is some extra money. If he's somehow able to find 2 1-on-1s here, that is the recipe to be able to win this one. Alistair needs to be quite careful with his peeking, but it doesn't matter as he gets it at the right time. And that is going to be the pistol for Grayhound.
Well, I got excited for a second. And look, we got some issues. Guns are not showing up, so we're going to see if we can try and fix that up for you boys. Nice pistol from Grayhound, though. Bit concerning for the boys on VERTEX, who again will start T-side Nuke after not having a great time starting T-side Nuke yesterday. Going to take a bit of grind from them to get into the game. That bomb plant might change things up a little bit, though. Could see some kind of second round force, some cheekiness with some rifle dropping, some Galil forcing, maybe even just like a half investment, light investment to try to take some guns off the CTs before they buy up into round number 3. The world is the oyster of VERTEXes.
Yeah, I was just looking back at it. No pistols gotten on Nuke for VERTEX. It was both over to Grayhound. Inferno pistols were both there for VERTEX. So, yeah, we know they can get pistols. They have decided to go for a force up here, Pilski.
Yeah. 2 of them have Glocks, so they're just trying to recycle these Galils. Nice smoke. HE does a fair bit of chip damage here for Sico. As you see, In's trying to spam through the smoke. Sico is actually up here at ladder base. Well, who is it? Dion, help. I need help.
There.
Thank you. How's it going to go for the boost onto brace? He's just ins down here and lower. Alistair spots some of the boys trying to cross on outside. That's a hell of a shot from Addict.
No util though for VERTEX anymore. We can say the same thing for Grayhound, who also don't have a kit. So if VERTEX can navigate a plant, we could actually see a real early save if Inns loses his life.
Potentially so. Probably want to be going for this one, though. And the way that Inns played Nuke last time, I'd be backing him here. Dion Sico gets cleaned out off the site, but Inns is still a problem from window room.
Yeah, we'll see if he can dislodge them before the plant goes down. He's managed to bring it off. Brace will find his death courtesy of Vexite, who manages to double down. And now it's all onto Addict with 0 chance at a bomb plant. And Inns will find him before the timer even expires.
2-0. Forced by denied. Bit of deja vu here, looking at the way that the scores went last time between these 2 teams yesterday. Half buy dealt with relatively quickly. Now into the anti-eco, a chance for Grayhound to build up their cash on CT before VERTEX can even chip in a first gun round here. Going to be another slow start for the boys.
They're all the boys, Pilski.
Everyone's the boys.
And Sico with the Ghost Galil again. Oh, there we go. We're into it with Liazz. Able to find a kill. Making sure the Glocks don't overwhelm him, though Sico has lost his life here. And Brace has managed to find that Galil, but now to the grave.
First gun round here for VERTEX. Keep an eye on what they want to be doing. Money's pretty well built up already for Grayhound here. Sico down to a Galil, which is going to get recycled so they can min-max the cash. Alistair goes straight for the alt purchase on a pretty early timing here, round number 4. That's something that Vertex will have to be mindful of. Sometimes you're not expecting an early alt purchase in a round like this, so you're not dotting your I's, crossing your T's, making sure you're flashing off the line. Things can get a little bit difficult for you. Outside smoke's being thrown out there. PC up on top of Silo, but the rest of Vertex quite heavily set up in lobby right now, looking to try to hit a timing into upper perhaps. Seems like they're really biding their time right now. Liazz gets drawn down vent in towards lower just to swap things out, and in comes this uppers hit.
Yeah, we'll see what Vexite's going to be able to do. It is early stages in this round, remember, though. A minute 15 still to play with, so there can be another attempted hit from Vertex a little bit later on, which is what they're going to do.
Yeah, it feels like they're trying to trade utility back and forth with the CTs and find a good timing to be able to catch one of these players aggressing. Here comes this next wave of util.
See what Vexite can do tucked in. To be able to help him, but all the timing of ins, at least he's got Vexite in the hut to be able to safeguard him. And he can fight another good fight in this round. Attic next to the vent as he is taken as well. This is just looking too clean for Grayhound. Yeah, Sico's going to lose his life, but it's Liazz to put a closer on it. The first test of a gun round, and Grayhound comes out swimmingly.
Yeah, Vertex are kind of dead in the water right now. Outside wall of smokes didn't really push and pull the rotations very drastically. You know, obviously they had Liazz down vent, had one in the backside of warehouse, having a look at the annex wrap. Vertex trying to trade util out in the early to mid round. They did a decent job of just pulling a few extra pieces of utility from Grayhound, but Grayhound playing quite deep in the chokes made it quite hard for Vertex to actually scale out upper. It felt like they were getting shut down in Squeaky and ramp. Again, here's the outside wall of smokes, different variation this time. It seems like Vertex going to try to create a timing with a bit of util in towards upper and a sneak through annex.
Again, this is something that I mentioned to you earlier, right? It was one of the big things that Vertex loved, toying with the idea of different iterations of smokes and outers, but not generally going with them. Trying to establish a bit of pressure towards ramp, outside the lobby as well. So I kind of want to see them be able to try and catch Grayhound off guard in this different day of Counter-Strike. But you also got to remember that when there's no real guns for Vertex to have in their possession, they're going to be made an example of. Over at the ramp, nobody gets through, and now it's Brace on a little bit of a lurk to see if he can pick up any damage.
I mean, they're just getting destroyed in the choke points. At the end of the day, they're not able to scale that ramp, not able to scale out Squeaky or Hut. Vertex is really just not getting any space anywhere, and I think they need to kind of reevaluate how they're approaching this game, because this pacing that they're going with right now is not working.
Yeah, probably a timeout to be had by Vertex in the next round. I'd probably expect that. What a shot from Alistair. That's
just vintage. That's classic Alistair. It's been doing that for years.
I mean, he's got a ghost gun, but it's still no scope. So, yeah, not bad.
PC's going to get the AWP out, which may indicate a bit of a change up in the pace. Issue being that, like I said, first kills were quite hard to come by, looking at the stats from yesterday.
Yeah, he's going to post up on the silo again, though. Generally, he did like to go for something like that. Where's number 7 going? Easy.
At the moment, again, a lot of lobby presence. Fair few players in the door here. Pretty early util out from Grayhound, trying to disrupt any attempt at an uppers push. Malta tries to make it down in towards Vet, but he actually goes into Annex there.
Wow. I think he's a little bit lost, but he's going to meet with the boys. Now I'm going to look towards in, spotting a lot of information that they've lost control of outers in this Annex smoke. This is going to be a bit of a weird crunch, as Vertex are going to be able to position up towards heaven, and maybe Hell Hazard, the Shadow, gets his advantage taken away from him.
Do they know Addict's here, though?
I don't think so.
If he finds the right timing, he could multi-frag and end this round by himself. He isn't peeking in towards upper just yet. Malta creeping around on ladder base. Multiple players in Annex as well.
It's going to be large. Brace finds Vexite, and the rest of the squad as well, finding a couple of crucial frags for Vertex to try and get their first round on the board. It's going to be an A-site plant for the T's, Alistair and Sico. potentially go in for a bit of a retake. They've got some U-tilt with Alistair there, but an AWP on a retake.
It's no time to react. For Grayhound, multiple players taking duels at the exact same time. You had the player take a duel on ladder base at the same time that Annex and Heaven players took duels. Grayhound couldn't react to any of those positions. They felt like they cleared out that player close to ladder base, and that meant that they had dealt with a lurker when really there was a lot more players with space around the map. So a bit of a misread from Grayhound, and honestly a bit of a wonky round from Vertex. Malta sends it in towards Annex through door, which makes, I guess, more of a heavier presence on outside from the T's. It's a good round for Vertex to crack on in there, though.
Mm.
Going to have a
Yeah.
bit of a tech pause, try to sort a couple of things out, but that's a good start. You need to get in there sooner rather than later once you're already down 0-5. But especially with the start that Greyhounds had already, it's going to take a little while to crack down on that CT economy and work their way back into the game where they can try and get themselves a bit of reset potential.
Yeah. It is a better start for Greyhound in this one compared to yesterday, and that's I think one of the drawbacks that I want to kind of keep a little bit of an eye on between yesterday's performance, where Greyhound has the affordance of a couple of slip ups because they probably know that they can have a lower bracket game if they are upset. But when push comes to shove, you've got this grand final, this slot for IEM Dallas, and it is a better start for them today than it was yesterday. So I think on the back of this tech pause, you know, it's going to be time for the individuals of Vertex to just have an internal think to figure out, all right, we've gotten one round. What just worked for us? What do we generally know from all our history and our demo reviews of Greyhound that they like to do in these sort of situations? Because I think this is definitely the time where we need to see Vertex get into it.
Yeah, for sure. Like I agree with everything you're saying. The issue is that these kind of series, I feel like a lot of the time it doesn't come down to uh, like the theory. Like Greyhound just tends to outclass a lot of these second tier teams in Australia. The individual skill is always there. You're seeing the multi-frags, and you're already seeing instances of it, like Sico with that lockdown at ramp, Liazz over towards Squeaky Door. Like these multi-frags, it feels like Greyhound's just in another class of player compared to some of the Vertex individuals. So you know, it needs to be a combination. Like when I think about that OS Masters upset, obviously that was a bit of a weird situation with some of the technical issues surrounding that tournament. That has to be an asterisk to some extent. But what I remember about that is that there was just no choke from Vertex. There was just no issues for the boys multi-fragging. They were able to make plays. They were able to come up clutch. They were able to kind of go pound for pound in terms of firepower on top of the good reads. I feel like Vertex having decent reads and having a good game plan is always present. It's just a case of whether they can accompany that with the individual plays that they need and the firepower.
Yeah, absolutely. And it does look like we're going to get ready to get back into the game now. Of course, with a string of 5 rounds, Pilski does mean that we have another strong buy to come through for Greyhound in the 7th.
100%. And I mean, at the end of the day, the Greyhound roster is just stacked like pancakes, man.
I like pancakes.
Just too many players that can multi-frag, can end a round on their own. Early U-tilt, thrown out in towards lobby, trying to be traded out. Liazz playing quite forward towards door side. It looks like a ramp push here, though. Flashes go out. A lot of pressure on Sico, who's still able to find an opening pick. Traded out. Alistair comes in through on elbow side and is able to pick PC on the cross. So a man advantage for Greyhound. Brace trying to pick the timing outdoor here after the ramp contact is made. Trying to be a bit of a difference maker while Malta applies pressure in towards lower.
Player advantage for Greyhound again is quite big, though. What a utility for them to be able to work and try to bait out any Vertex members. Make it a bit easier to close down this round. But Vexite not expecting Brace to have already been pushed out through the squeaky door. And now Ins to get the trade. So at least Greyhound holding a good advantage nonetheless. The bomb in Hazard's possession. Gonna try and make its way down to B because Malta is clearing a lot of positions.
Yeah, they're aware Malta's down here. And I think Malta has an inkling that there's a CT somewhere in this postcode. Whole belter utility on Hazard here. Can see Ins is all the way around through the backside of lobby. Alistair's backside of ladder base. So the CT is actually quite split up here. Liazz playing quite confidently on Windows side.
Oh, but Malta, he was watching him for a second, and he's going to win that duel. So it's a 2 versus 2. And Alistair still has that AWP to try and go in for a retake. There's scattered weaponry over at Megaton that he can transition over to, but he's going to start to peek on out. It's a close one from Malta, who's going to be looking for a 4K to try and close out this round. But Ins, he's going to get his head taken off by a quick reacting Hauser, which means VERTEX do get the second.
Yeah, and as much praise as I'm giving the individuals of Grayhound, that's a perfect example of the kind of round that you see get them in trouble when they go overseas. They have a man advantage. They're all split up around the map. You know, Liazz is in towards window, and he's trying to play with confidence, trying to find a timing, catch a player in transition. Over on the bottom side of the site, Malta punishes him for picking up Windows side, and then it basically boils down from being a 3-on-2 situation where Grayhound has a fair bit of time to try and reposition, try and make sure that they get the spacing right, and come in together to basically multiple 1v1s that VERTEX are able to convert. So respect not being given to VERTEX, and as a result of that, they win a 2-on-3 and put Greyhound's economy on the breaking point. And now they actually have a pretty big economic advantage, 2+K in the bank on most of the players on the T side here. If they win this round, they will break Greyhound's money and actually start going pound for pound against them in terms of the rounds. Out come the outer smokes here. Bray's going to try and find some space in combination with Addict. Molotov over towards Secret. Pushes Alistair back for the time being, but he's going to want to regress.
Yeah, the only one that can really dislodge VERTEX at the moment would be Ins if there's a gap in these smokes, and there is a large one at that. Now that the flames have gone, Alistair stops nothing, and it has to be Ins. It has to be Vex sight from on top of the HUD as well. Head on a swivel, though, from Ins. He gets 2 and some extra change. Now in this 4 versus 2 for VERTEX, they need to get a couple of quick ones back into the mix, because otherwise it's going to look super awkward for them, and awkward it is with Liazz and Sico ripe and ready to close down that round.
Yeah, multi-fragging from Ins, just on a swivel, and Annex there takes 2 with him. Coming out door, coming out outers, no trade potential. Third player who finally deals with him even cops a bink before he dies. So In's just outputting the same level of fragging that you saw in the last series. It's a reason he put up 25 kills and 130 odd ADR the last time that these two teams played each other on Nuke yesterday. And it's hard to deal with that, man. There's just too much talent on this Greyhound team. You know, VERTEX can have a decent approach, but the reality of the situation is they really just do need to have a bit of a special day at the office to take Greyhound out. And I haven't seen it happen too often.
It's interesting as well, right? Because yesterday we got the sense that VERTEX were on par. We're a bit better than them on Inferno. We got vibes of that on Nuke and in the final deciding map as well. But right now it's kind of, you know, fallen back to the whole Greyhound leaps and bounds ahead. We've got a little bit here and there from VERTEX, but not enough to get something happening. So I kind of wonder if things switch to the CT side, are we going to get that VERTEX back? Or is it just that Greyhound are ahead of the curve right now in this individual instance?
Wall of smokes across the outside. A lot of players straight down Secret. You've left Malta on the lurk over towards outside, but he's only got a Tech 9 to deal the damage with. Sico hearing all of these footsteps, calling for the rotation across from Ins here.
See what VERTEX can do, though. Couple of bits of utility could put Ins in a spot of bother at the Megaton and then isolate his teammate on the site. That there being Sico, who can play behind the reactor, and he might need to look to do so. But some good timing on that smoke is going to force VERTEX down below.
Yeah, Sico, pole position for him to try to pick this apart. Ins playing inside of the smoke as well is making VERTEX's life extremely difficult. But PZ's going to peg one back, Dion.
Yeah, 3 versus 4, 40 seconds to go, and they didn't expect Sico to jump back on in, but he's got to be careful trying to steal away the AWP, as Malta somehow has lost a weapon completely. He will eventually get an A1S that he needs to put into good use. 2 versus 4 yet again. The AWP set up for Greyhound, and Malta can't quite wrangle the spray on that one, meaning that it's all going to be down onto Brace. 1 versus 4. It's going to be very difficult, but he finds the first one. The second one would have been brilliant, but Liazz just better in that one again. And Greyhound, they are now 1 away from at least closing out this half regardless.
Yeah. I mean, they're going into the anti-eco here. VERTEX not getting a bomb plant and only just maxing out the loss bonus means that they have to take it easy for at least one round. Tech 9's an armor, a bit of util. VERTEX usually pretty good at coming up with something creative in a round like this. You know, giving it a bit of a crack, not just walking around the map with Deagle armor. Looks like it's going to be a quick one into uppers.
See what these sisters can do. They have to go through the fire, though. It's a trial by fire, and so far they are failing and falling. Just going to be down to PZ as Brace manages to get 1 kill, but the Taps of Exide are going to get the job done at the end. No real problems for Grayhound.
Just no position of weakness on this roster right now. All within 3 kills of each other. I've seen every single one of these players multi-frag in their positions. And at the end of the day, it sounds like a simplistic explanation, but it's what's happening in the server. Grayhound are just shooting better. Better positioning, better individuals right now. VERTEX in with another gun round, seeing if they can scrape together at least something out of this T side straight outdoor, but they take so much damage, Neon.
Oh, wow. Yeah, look at it. Liazz is able to double down. Vexite and Inns getting a piece of the action as well from opposite extremes of that kill feed, and now it's all going to be down on Mr. PZ. But as quick as the round has started, Pilski, it's as quick as it ends.
They just can't get out the choke points without taking like 200, 300 damage, man. Without losing almost 2 players. They're copping Molotovs. They're getting spammed through smokes. They're, you know, getting dueled by the anchor players, not getting these clean entries. And it just feels like this has been such a quick half, like just snappy, quick plays out of VERTEX that are getting shut down. They're mixing up the pacing in terms of, you know, when they try to scale out. But when they actually do commit to the site plays, like going into lower after outside smokes or annex split or whatever, it's the same story. If you understand what I'm saying. I'd love to see... I mean, it's not really VERTEX's style, but I feel like it's almost more effective for Rooster to play Grayhound because they're not afraid of going for that contact kind of play.
Yeah. Well, you look at those 2 smokes that VERTEX has thrown in outers as well, right? And Inns, in fact, of just getting in front of them, knows that there's nothing that VERTEX are doing behind those smokes. We don't see Grayhound use any of that utility to try and regain space because they didn't need to. Now that Inns has found the first frag, they're starting to get a good idea of what's going to happen. I'm seeing no smokes on VERTEX's side now, Pilski.
I mean, not only that, it's like that's exactly what I was talking about when I was talking about the opening kill stats. If you go back and look at Nuke yesterday, 18 and 6 opening kills in favor of Grayhound. And Inns just walks outside and picks a player for free. It's not an easy way to kick off a round of T-side Nuke.
No. Liazz is burning, but Inns is able to double down in outers. Bomb in a pretty stuck spot. Looks to be retrievable from Malta. He will be able to do so. Alistair popping out from the lockers. And now with PZ being known and decapitated, that's double digits for Grayhound.
It's just a death match, mate. It's rough to watch. There's like, you know, I'm a color caster and there's nothing to analyze, mate. You know, this is bigger, faster, stronger. VERTEX are getting bullied in the server right now. That's just the honest to God truth of it.
What would be a suggestion to get a round or two on the board?
Like I said, I want to see them, but I don't know if they have the capability of doing it, but I want to see, and I feel like I hate myself saying this, by the way, but I honestly want to see the contact kind of confident game style that you see out of a Rooster or something, because I think that works better against Grayhound. I think they have more trouble. I think the structure that VERTEX are trying to throw right now, the way they're scaling out, Grayhound are so good at picking it apart. Their utility timing is making VERTEX's life incredibly difficult. I feel like Grayhound is reading this play style really, really well. And the individuals are just so good at locking down these choke points. I don't even know if it's going to matter. The way that, like, how well Grayhound are playing right now, I'm not sure that it's even going to matter, Dion. That's the honest truth. But
and sometimes that's real, right?
They are just getting shut out of the server.
Yeah.
But I think, honestly, like, to give themselves a proper chance, they just need to slow things down and stop trying to force out choke points with utils. Stop trying to play so execute heavy. Like, let's see some contact play. Let's see just simply like a walkout door or something, or walkout ramp, reasonably dry. Just try to get the trades, break the rounds down into an XVX situation where you can try and push and pull the rotations. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
it just feels like they are forcing it super, super hard. And I can understand, like, that is Vertex's game style a lot of the time. And it does work for them a lot. But right now, it just isn't. It's just not it.
Well, timeout's done. I wonder if Brace is going to be able to communicate that to the team, or some input from coach as well for either of these sides.
The issue is once you're already down 11-2, it's like,
your best is 11-4.
I mean, yeah, well, obviously, but like, it's hard
It's a bit
to,
far away.
yeah, it's hard to kind of turn it back around from this point. Like, what's done is done at this point. You're already 13 rounds into the half deep. This is going to be an incredibly difficult game to win. Outside wall of smokes. You can see In's quite eager to challenge a little bit. Going to chip in an HE nade. Brace throws the molly in towards Secret. They're not using the wall of smokes though. Instead, it's going to be investment in the util outside, and they are going to actually go a little bit drier into upper, it looks like. Smoke out door towards Annex.
The problem is Grayhound actually have a kind of a setup for this flood out the hut as well. Liazz playing counter, playing up on the rafters, and an incendiary that can be dropped toward the hut if needed. Though Vexite has been taken down on the side, I'm wondering when Liazz is going to activate and what he can do. He's good for one. The rest of the Grayhound members start to come on out, and it's Ali and Inns to try and get it back. Malta, none the wiser that they're playing up out the heavens right now. And Brace, he is completely stuck to try and get that bomb across.
That's exactly what I was meaning though. Like the way that they stopped and they paced themselves. They're not trying to force out hut. It still might not matter though. 2-on-4 turns into a 2-on-2 in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, flashes in. Brace can dodge that. PZ turns nicely away, and now it's all going to be on to Inns. Things shaping up a little bit better for Vertex in this round right now, with 20 seconds to go for Inns. He'll be taken down.
See, what they did differently was just such a small detail. It's not like they even changed up what they were doing too much. Outside wall of smokes, into an uppers execute, but they were much more patient the way that they were scaling out. It felt like before they're trying to run through a brick wall. They're not taking the extra few seconds to just wait for the right timing to take a duel. They're just trying to rush everything, and it just wasn't working for them. But that round, they took a few extra couple of seconds, make sure that the flashes go off, wait for the counter utility, make sure the spacing's correct, and it worked much better.
Oh, this one's a bit quicker though. Malta, this time he doesn't find his exit into the annex, but actually down the vent.
Yeah, this is what he wanted to go for, and this is a big win condition on T-side Nuke. You get this player down the vent. It's going to start to sow some seeds of doubt in the CT rotations. Inns makes his way in towards lower. And honestly, this is kind of a position you're probably not usually expecting as the player to make it down the vent. You can definitely get caught by CT going down secret. Alistair's got Addict most likely dead to rights here. I think he's asking for a teammate to bail him out right now.
Yeah, but Addict, he's got a smoke, and he's going to have to preempt that one. There's 3 players ready on this line, but PZ, oh, that's a bit rough for him. Quicker out from Alistair, but in the meantime, that lower player in Malta, you were mentioning it, right? Inns, you're not going to expect him in that position at that time if you've already gotten down there, and that's what's happened.
Yeah, you're not usually expecting the CT to wrap you through secret. You get down vent, you're trying to pull the rotation on through elbow and ramp side. Off angle from Sico and a half. You're never going to be pre-aiming that. It's all a bait setup for Vexite. He's probably good for 2 here, let's be real. And that's going to be the half Dion.
Yeah, absolutely. 12-3, a commanding lead for Grayhound on the map of Nuke. We'll see what this has in store for us after the break.
Tell me now why you want to wait. Running out of words you wanna say. I've been looking for you, looking for you, looking for you. Take me down, leave me lost and found.
All right, welcome back to the IEM Dallas Closed Qualifier Grand Final. Winner of this series going over to Dallas to represent us here down under. And we're going to kick off this T-side pistol with Grayhound storming straight through ramp.
Nobody home. That poses a bit of a problem for Vertex as well, because it is such a crucial position to define a lot of space in a map like Nuke. However, with going down ramp, Pilski, it means that Vertex have got out of control and they're pushing through.
Yeah, weird position. Bit of a role reversal at this point. Not something you're going to be expecting on the T side, which is why Alistair looks like he's caught completely unawares. Rest of Grayhound not going to pick up the pace straight down through lower. Unsilenced USP here for PZ.
Yeah, it's a bit of an interesting one, isn't it? We saw, what was it, Hazard use that a little bit earlier on this evening, but for right now, Vertex with this player advantage, the bomb starts to go down, which means it's going to be a pretty interesting retake. There is a kit and a smoke for Brace.
Man advantage. You can see Vertex slowing things down, waiting for Grayhound to overextend here.
Time's are ticking. The flood out of Decon at the moment and the hopping around. You'll love to see that. Sico's been hard done by everybody on Grayhound, falling like flies. It's a 1 versus 5 for Liazz, and they're toying with him at the double doors at the moment. Meanwhile, the defuse is already starting to be stuck, and PZ on the wrap is going to be able to find him.
That's what you want to be seeing. Vertex able to secure themselves CT side pistol, but with the bomb plant and a fair few kills. Oh, that is a nasty looking force buy brewing on the T side there. Vexite can buy AK armor. Liazz can buy AK armor. Could definitely see an AK dropped or even some Galils bought up with a fair bit of util here. This is definitely dangerous. As we're going to get a bit of a pause. Cheeky little pause. We love it. We love a technical pause here down under, especially in a grand final.
Oh.
What would a
Houdini?
What would a qualifier be without a bit of a technical pause?
I reckon it'd be fun. Have it all go smooth.
No.
No?
Can't happen. That'd be un-Australian.
You know what, Pilski?
Yeah.
You're right. That's exactly what it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's gone and disappeared? You got Brace, PZ, Malta, and Hazard. Unfortunately, it's Addict.
Bloody New Zealanders. Can't rely on them. Unreal.
Can only rely on them for one thing in Counter-Strike, and that's AWPing.
Yeah. And Nedic. He's also good.
This is true.
And Addict. He's kind of good too. A few New Zealand riflers breaking through over the last little bit. But yeah, usually, traditionally, New Zealand is the land of AWPers. Must be all the sheep.
Well, I guess you got Sico in the mix as well.
He was an AWPer originally, though.
Yeah, exactly. Well, when you got Alistair on your roster, you've got to give him the good fight if you want to try and take it away from him.
Yep. You're right. I mean, Vertex is a good pistol to win. I kind of want to see what Grayhound do with this buy, but for anyone who's not aware, it would not be smart of Grayhound to invest their money in a situation such as this, where, there may be a stream delay. And in theory, we don't know how long Addict will be taking to get back into the server. So it wouldn't be great to be giving away any information on a broadcast several minutes later.
Even though that would be very naughty.
That would be very naughty, but you know what?
It's happened before, unfortunately, so it's, well, hopefully not from these teams, but we know it has happened in the past.
No, I wouldn't expect it at this caliber of
No.
this caliber of CS, but yeah. Nothing stops the boys in this region from getting a dub.
Hopefully things get sorted soon, though, for Addict, as we would like the Counter-Strike to resume.
I'm just going to bring up the Bris Vegas stream. I'm going to be honest. Because there's not really a whole lot to talk about in this game. For anyone who didn't tune in, Grayhound were running around shooting people in the head the entire first half. And then VERTEX won the CT pistol. And we're hoping they can make a comeback.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, you know, it was a weird pistol round. If we want to get a little bit more into that for just briefly, some good space to Grayhound get over towards ramp. Meanwhile, VERTEX with the idea to wrap around outers, completely catching Alistair off guard. And then as the bomb plant goes down, all the VERTEX members just hit the heads and it's done.
Yep. It's a good summary. It was a nice retake in the 5-on-4. Nice movement outdoor. One of the boys doing a bit of a B-hop, creating space for the rest of the players to retake. But yeah, outside of that, it looks like Nuke's kind of going the same way that it went yesterday. Opening duels. I mean, let's have a look at the stats and have a comparison. What are we looking at here?
Grayhound and more Grayhound.
Yes, most of the... Yeah, I mean, again, it's pretty heavy opening duel advantage in the favor of Grayhound, similar to yesterday. What's that? 7, 11, 13, 14 to 3 opening duels. That's pretty insane. And one of those opening duels is in the last round, so it was what, 14-1 or something like that. That can't be right. In the first half, it was less than that. It's like 12-3 or 13-2, something like that. But that's still insane.
Yeah.
For opening duels in the favor of Grayhound. And yesterday it was 18-6 on Nuke. So look, all I'm saying is to lose 16-8 pretty heavily, starting out T-side Nuke against Grayhound yesterday, and make the choice to run it back today and then see how this game has started. I'm getting a little worried for the VERTEX boys, but fingers crossed, because I've been following these guys for many, many seasons of domestic CS, and I'm hoping that they can pull through, but it might not be the day today. It seems like Grayhound are pretty switched on.
Yeah, I think personally, as an avid Counter-Strike enjoyer, and from what we saw yesterday from VERTEX, you know, I would kind of like this series to go the distance and get all three. But I think, you know, we need to just see a little bit more from VERTEX, and hell, maybe this CT side for them now is the thing that we're waiting for. Maybe they're just going to be a little bit more reliant on being able to play with the map strength of that side. But I mean, when you look towards the second map of this series as well, if this one, you know, has a bit of a comeback, still doesn't go their way, and Nuke gets Grayhound the victory, then we're going over into an Ancient where we know how proficient a team like Grayhound is on that map. So I think it still is, whichever way you look at it, going to be scary for VERTEX. Yeah,
I mean, they'd be playing it overseas. Had a pretty tight one against Zonkor just the other day. Went to 30 rounds, so... I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just not a map that VERTEX plays too much, or that we've seen them play too much. So I can understand the choice of going towards that in the veto, where in the previous veto, I think it was first banned by VERTEX, and this time they first banned Inferno.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a choice. They would have had to be aware of that, though. Like you will have had to be aware that you ban Inferno, and you're definitely going to be letting something like Ancient through, or even an Anubis pick or something. So.
Well, just going in the history for them and looking at when they last played Ancient, there's a couple of reps in 2021. There's a single item of it from 2022, and that was in April of 2022. So that's how long it's actually been that they've had to play
almost a year.
An Ancient. Yeah.
Almost a year since their last official on Ancient.
Yeah.
That sounds like Australia to me. Unreal. Oh, so even on... Did that get announced? Even on HLTV, it says that Kingfisher is the coach of VERTEX. Did I miss an announcement somewhere?
I don't believe there's been anything official, but I do know that he did step down from Grayhound because that was made official by himself.
Yeah, gotcha.
But I don't think anyone knows that it's actually like officially with VERTEX unless you're here and you know that.
Okay.
Yeah. Spoilers alert for anybody, by the way.
Wait, what did you say?
Spoilers alert for anybody that didn't know.
Oh, spoiler.
Coach of VERTEX.
Yeah. Make sure you watch cover your ears, watch the movie, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, guys, you probably had an idea that this might have been coming, but we are just still waiting a little bit of extra time for Addicts to be able to reconnect into the server. So we're going to throw it over to a break, and hopefully when we do come back, touch all the wood that you can, we will be ready to close this one out. Well, thankfully that break wasn't as long as it potentially could have been. We have Addict reconnected into the server now, and we are going to wait and see what can have happened here. Of course, Grayhound Pilsky, from the looks of things, have chosen to force up.
Yeah, I'm not surprised about that. They had a fair bit of cash to work with. A couple of SMGs in the mix here. Initial util thrown out here by Grayhound. Trying to push and pull some utility from the CT side. Only the singular flashbang on outside here for Alistair. Looks like he wants to throw that in towards upper on a nice timing here for Grayhound. Aggression in towards elbow from the CTs though. Three
Ooh,
CTs.
Yeah, this is a bit risky for Sico and Vexite if they don't get activated a bit quicker. Get wise to the fact. And just look at the crunch that is coming on down. Everything flowing forward for VERTEX. Yeah, there's damage that's been delivered, but at the end of the day, there's 5 VERTEX members alive and only 1 Grayhound.
Easy as you like there. Exactly like you said, beautifully executed lobby crunch in the second round. Completely shuts down that force bite. Grayhound now find themselves absolutely broke. Got to take a single save and look to buy up in towards round number 19. But as for VERTEX, that is a big boon to their economy. They pick up several AKs. Cash is looking absolutely excellent heading into the anti-eco, mind you. So as long as they don't receive too many 1-deeks, they are going to be in a great position on CT side to start grinding back into this game. Still a long road back in, but it's not undoable.
Yeah, you just kind of want this one to go clean as far as VERTEX is concerned. You know, you see what damage Grayhound can do. I'm going to be more interested to see what the T side of Grayhound looks like, because yesterday, you know, it was that CT side that was the problematic factor, and we've just seen a bit of resilience from Grayhound on that side. So if they're able to pull through with the T side too when they get the guns in their hands, then clean nuke as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Grayhound is looking for damage. Conversely, as you mentioned, you want this to be as clean as you want, as you can possibly make it for VERTEX. Need to see the boys start to get warmed up, especially, you know, you were looking at Hazard and Addict having key rounds where they're multi-fragging and finding impact for VERTEX in that Rooster series. Those boys definitely need to wake up. PZ, long angle of sight, able to put down the Deagle on outers. So looking quite clean here. Grayhound mostly just walking around the map, pretty dry contact. Malta running in towards lobby, wants to try to make some money with his MP9.
Yep. Nothing too untoward, I guess. You know, the way the round probably should be ending when you stack everything on those scales should be going with 5 alive to VERTEX.
Malta just trying to make some cash. See if he's going to clear this left side. Looks like he has an idea where Sico is. That's really good movement from him as well. Hits him with the good old Call of Duty peek. Jump sprint peek with the SMG. That is a lot of cash for VERTEX. Pretty much 100%ed those last couple of rounds. Beautiful lobby crunch into a pristine, perfect anti-eco. Grayhound
Alrighty.
now looking at this first gun round though, and they've maxed out the loss bonus already.
Yeah. Can I just point out that Inns has 225 ADR?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's pretty rookie numbers for Inns, honestly. If he hasn't got at least 40 by round 19, he's probably not having his best game.
Well, we'll see what the AKs are going to do for Greyhounds. Not a lot of utility for Vertex to be able to just keep on recycling. This time with those outer smokes, Pilski, Greyhound are actually making use of them.
Yeah, I mean, they've got Inns down in towards lower. Greyhound now throwing a wave of util in towards upper, trying to draw out util. How much damage
Brace
is that?
Malta?
To Brace and Malta. Just with incendiaries, now comes into contact towards ramp. A lot of pressure on PZ, crossfired in with Hazler, who's trying to sink away in towards Megaton.
I want to know where that user was actually thrown, because I think there might have been a flash from Greyhound as well to just keep them contained and locked in the flames. But with the damage that is actually being retaliated with by Vertex, I think that maybe, just maybe, they might be able to sneak away with this round. They line up for PZ. But Sico and Liazz, they managed to get something back in towards this round. Less than 50 seconds to go. And it is that player deficit for Greyhound.
Oh, Sico on outside. Can't win the duel versus Addict. Bomb gets dropped. 40 seconds for Liazz to recover it. Walks up CT vent. 2 players coming up secret. There's no way you can read this round. These positions are just all over the place from the CTs.
Oh, he's going to see Malta's hands. But can he figure things out that Addict is right behind him as well?
Bullets.
There's no ammunition either, and Malta is just going to stop him before he can get into credit card.
Gorgeous. 3 guns up. 3 AKs retrieved. 4 Vertex. No bomb plant. Makes it a little bit harder to buy, even with the max loss bonus here for Greyhound. So they're going to have to go for a half buy. Woo, got a game on our hands. As you keep building up the cash here for Vertex, don't drop too many guns. And don't lose the pistols. We are experts at losing the pistols here in Oceania.
Yeah, we saw that in our previous series, didn't we? It's quite entertaining, all things considered.
Years of watching Renegades play overseas.
Okay, now you're pulling at the heartstrings.
It's like an Annex crush in towards uppers. PZ relatively ready for that, but now Vexai can get his mids on an AK.
Oh, Malta, though. He's able to bunker down, survive with half HP. He's going to get a second one. Actually, it gets stolen away from him, but he's still living. So as far as he's concerned, things are okay. In's trying to remove him, though, as soon as I say that.
There's Malta almost dying in that situation. Just did not deserve any of that. A minute on the clock, 1v4. You know, if it was anyone but In's alive, I'd say no chance.
We'll see what he can do with this Tech 9. No one is currently looking at outers. And Addict wasn't until In started shooting.
Wrangles the spray back around. That's how many in a row? 5 in a row for Vertex?
It was
Very
12-3,
nice.
yeah, so
Very clean.
not bad.
Good cash build up. Money's looking strong on the CT side here, Dion.
Yeah, this is one of the things that I was kind of wondering, you know, was it, as I said, Vertex going to be relying a little bit more strongly on their CT side, given that yesterday it was the T side that propelled these teams a little bit better. Now, Greyhound, they've had a couple of these gun rounds where it's gone a little bit aloof for Vertex. They've started to build it up nicely, and they're going to start off round number 21 with a nice opening kill on a Sico.
Yeah, that's massive. Had a tough time finding those opening picks yesterday. If you take a look at the stats, Addict looking for toes. Underneath the smoke, going to drop a Molotov over towards secret side, try to delay the push in towards outside. Multiple players dancing around Unbreakable in the lockers. Addict has got a player hunting him down, able to take Alistair with him at least.
I got the vibes that was going to look to be a collateral there, but it was not. A bit of an overstep from Malta, as an advantage for Greyhound is now set in stone.
In's chilling inside the locker room. You know, just having a bit of a change. Handing out arse slaps to the boys, which is exactly what he receives from Brace. Now these 2 players picking up the pace in towards lower. Has a perfectly positioned to undo this round.
Yeah, certainly. If you can find both of them, that'll put it in. And they're not going to clear him either. It's a 1-to-1 at the end of the day. Liazz on half HP and a single flash. You got a bit of clearance util from Brace here.
Liazz going to play it from dark. Could have gone decon, could have gone windows, but not really sure of Brace's position at this point in the round. Brace going to work his way over towards windows side.
Liazz tucking in dark. Well placed incendiary or HE grenade can get him. No smoke though. Brace probably has to tap that bomb relatively soon or find him in the next kind of 5 seconds and then get on it. Because time is a ticking. He's making noise. He's got the right angle, but it's a bit of an offline from Liazz.
Yeah, nicely done. Gonna grab a 13th for Grayhound, but that was an expensive round. It's gonna bankrupt them to reinvest here with only 2.9 loss bonus. If they don't get a bomb plant, they could actually get soft reset here by Vertex to immediately reinvest themselves and still have cash to play with. That's how well they've done at building up their own economy. But the more imminent threat to them is the fact that there's just not that many rounds in between Grayhound and taking the dub here on Nuke.
Let's see what the Mac 10 is going to provide. Ins here. Brace already on half HP. Pilski as the outer smokes draw a lot of utility. Wow.
Yeah, a little bit less left to work with. It's going to be an uppers timing here. Ins just probing outside with the Mac 10. Loses his life to Brace. Is that going to put the pedal to the metal here for Grayhound in towards lobby side? Or are they still just going to continue with this slow pacing in this 4-on-5?
Looks to be the latter. They've got a single smoke left for Alistair. He's currently got that one in hand. He's going to throw it. So, actually, Liazz does have one now too. So, it does look like...
It's lining up a bit of util toward upper. Trying to pull the rotations, pull the Annex player or the Heaven player in towards uppers so that they can create a bit of a timing to creep across outside.
Yeah, no one's actually currently looking outers for Vertex. So
Yeah.
it's just keeping everybody entertained in uppers for now.
Yeah, that's what Alice has done. He's done his job. They're just trying to create, the best way to win from a man disadvantage situation is get your way into the small site. Just get yourself into an XVX post plant. So if you can create space in lower, you can get into annoying positions like fence. It's quite hard for the CTs to retake sometimes, but not in this case. Vertex are all over this round.
Yeah, absolutely. And a very clean one from Hazard to close it down. Going to pick himself 3 kills at the end. Brace managed to find 2 there as well. You talked about the investment being kind of costly, right? The bankruptcy that would be provided to Grayhound if they look to do so. And now they've only got that loss bonus coming into their pockets. So this is going to have to be one of those half buys at best to make sure they've got guns in the next.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of pointing the finger at the individuals on Vertex in the last half. Both Addict and Hazard having multi-frags already. It feels like they're playing a lot better. More well-rounded on this CT side. So it's going to take Grayhound really working for this win on the T side. Bit of a nade stack here.
Yeah, it's going to fall a little bit short. Liazz has already lost his life. And, okay, at least it bounced back into him.
Unlucky.
Gotta love the fact that the HE grenades can blow away util.
Couple smokes across the outside here. Grayhound, see if they can create a bit of a screen to cross. Maybe find an opportunity somewhere. PC actually connects with Ali through the smoke there on the USP. I don't think there's actually anyone down in lowers right now for the CT side.
No, but there is a little bit of a ramp look for 2 of their members at the moment, so they will be readily available when Grayhound do get down to the site. And I guess at the end of the day, if they can get a plant and cause a little bit of, an upset with a couple of frags here and there, it's just going to serve some numbers to your kill department because, the money there for Vertex is still looking good.
They're working their way back up secret with the bomb though. Trying to meet up with Ins. Could be a bit of an anti-timing the way the Annex moving. Drops the bomb. Awkward situation now with 15 seconds on the clock. I don't know what you're going to get done. I'm also just looking for damage, I would say, on these pistols.
I think if you're Grayhound, you probably just need to go and die, to be honest. 5 seconds.
There you go.
All right, cool.
Done that. Double digits, man. Vertex. This half. 7-1 on the CT side. Still good money, 6+K on all of these players. Alex is probably going to be a little bit poorer once he buys himself a gun. Take a look at another gun round here for Grayhound. They are really having to work for them. These gun rounds ain't coming easy, Dion.
No, it's going to have to be a good one for them as well, because it's one of those swing rounds as well, where if it doesn't go Greyhound's way, we're looking at a very close line, 13 to 12. You're looking at 13 to 13 as well. And again, the money for VERTEX is, not resettable anytime soon. So we need to see a couple of good ones for Greyhound. But again, I guess if they get a couple of good ones, they're at map point. They're at, GG one after. So it's only going to take, 2 or 3 gun rounds and it's done.
The outside wall of smokes here for the T side. PZ deep line here. They cannot afford to give him an opening pick. He's been doing a pretty good job finding them. He's going to drop a smoke on door, work his way across towards secret. Because obviously the outside wall of smokes, biggest advantage to throwing them on the T side is you're limiting the info that the CTs have. So whether or not you use them, you are naturally just going to cause rotations across the map.
Going to be big for Hazza here to see what he can do. And unfortunately, it's just a tad little kiss over towards Vexite's HP. As they start to stampede down towards lowers, actually. Hazza is in a bit of a problematic position. Taken out very swiftly. Greyhound are going to look for an early plant.
Yeah, focus is just really not there for Hazza. He's in a swing position where he can multi-frag, and he's just not switched on in that spot. Don't know if there was, a bit of overcom happening, or whether it's just, getting to that point in the night after a couple of maps of CS already.
Ali on a good line. Door swung open. Knows there's a second player there as well. Brace manages to get that trade, but with the bomb nearing that half mark as well as no smokes for VERTEX, I think they just have to cut their losses, go for a save here, see if they can hold on to these weapons.
Yeah. I mean, if they min-max their economy correctly, they can really just continue to buy and buy and buy on CT. So saving these guns round after round after round is actually not the worst thing in the world. Nice round from Grayhound, though. Wall of smokes on outside, pulls PZ down in towards lower. Once they, pull the CTs apart a little bit more, does leave that ramp player a little bit isolated. And they're able to actually scale out onto Hazza, trade him out effectively, and get into an XVX after plant on lowers, which they closed out pretty easily. It's felt like a lot of the T side rounds have been a bit of a struggle for Grayhound, but that definitely wasn't one of them.
Seems to be a little bit quicker from Liazz up at Squeaky. Flames to hold him at bay, and for Brace, not going to be seeing any opponents for just now. Early bit of util trading.
At the nade stack again, up onto Rafter. Trying to condition VERTEX not to play there. Wall of smoke on outside yet again. Keep an eye on the rotations. After this hits, Brace floats across over towards Annex, but you're going to get a lobby crunch again here for VERTEX. This worked for them earlier in the half anti-force.
Yeah. I'm just wondering about the later timing from Alistair here. Sico, the spray is a little bit lopsided, unfortunately. And for VERTEX, they're just happy enough to get that one there and fall away.
Yeah, playing quite disciplined. Which is what we saw up against Rooster earlier. They were quite happy to just find a one-man pick and not overextend after that. Greyhound going to try to resolve this round the old-fashioned way. A bit of a contact into upper, it looks like.
Malta at CT vent. The Molotov to push him off the line, but the smoke, no one can actually see him. And Pilsky is actually not going up towards the A site right now for Greyhound.
Yeah, I think they smoked themselves out of door.
Yeah, and this is a little bit tricky because Hazza with an AUG actually getting his head ripped off. Now PZ on the AWP. It's a shotgun position for him. Is the only soldier here for VERTEX at the moment. And as he is taken out, it's going to be a 3-for-3 position. The bomb not yet established. Just the HE grenade. Actually, that's going to look to find ins, and it's all onto Vexite. There is no time to get the plant safely. An immediate rotation from the VERTEX guys, and they managed to survive with 3 alive after that 3-on-3.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's finding that opening pick. That was the most Greyhound round I've ever seen, accidentally smoking themselves out a door, and then it doesn't look like the round is even a possibility, but someone like Vexite just hits some ridiculous one tap, and they almost look like they could win a round that they should never win in a million years.
Yeah.
Vertex puts the pieces back together after that, though, obviously, with how much little time there was at the end of the round there. A lot of scrambling from Grayhound, which honestly does kind of remind me of the OS Masters Grand Final last year. Grayhound on this T side, Nuke was running down the clock a lot. And Vertex was often quite able to deal with that. So be interested to see if Grayhound continues with that same kind of pacing, taking things relatively slowly. Bit of a mixed bag here for Grayhound. Alistair saving quite heavily for AWP, couple of Tech 9s, couple of AKs with armor.
Yeah. Enough to get some damage and steal away some guns if possible to make something of this round, but, you know, not too less to just have no way into the round. And it's actually a bit quick from Ins to Secret, but I think he was heard by Addict.
Yeah, he's setting the pace straight in towards Secret. Malta avoiding that flash quite easily. I think he hears the pin pulled from backside of Outers, because he was all over that. Ins now probably has to be the main man to find impact here. Searching into Lord's lowers, looking to try to pick this CT player. Hops in vent. Thought he was back-to-back with Hazard, but Hazard's actually deep inside the site here. The rest of Grayhound looking to probably contact ramp at some point in this round.
Single flash, though. Need to hit some pretty pristine shots, especially against an AWPer in PC who's already gotten one.
Yeah, just plays the high percentage. Takes the pick. Falls back to the longest angle of sight. But In's a little bit too good. Able to work his way through control room. Picks Hazard on lower. That creates space for the rest of the T's to find some control of the B site and get this bomb down.
Yeah, we'll see if this bomb plan can blossom into anything a little bit more beautiful for Grayhound. Find a sneaky 15 with a very minimal investment. Doors to be reshut at the moment. There is a lot of utility, though, for Vertex to be able to work with to clear all these corners, and you need to see some pretty good shots come out from Ins, elevating himself in a bit of an off position at the moment. Alistair's been deleted. Ins' position is known. He's dropping into the welcome arms of Grace, and now it's all on to Vexite. A Tech 9 from down yonder. Good for at least one, but it's the swing out from Addicts that's going to get the job done. And Vertex are getting ever so closer to that 14 that Grayhound have found again once more.
Yeah. Feel bad for ever talking smack about Vertex's individuals. Everyone kind of stepping up across the board on CT side right now. Pitching in a little bit. Getting the job done. Issue being that in the current game state, with the extra cash in the back pocket of the bomb plants that Grayhound are putting together, they just are able to keep buying and buying and buying. Even the rounds where they're only on the half buy, like the previous, they have AKs and things that you have to worry about. Seems like Grayhound wanted to maybe hit a timing into upper there, but counter util makes their life a bit difficult. Ins again left on the lurk on outside, while the rest of the boys sitting towards lobby. Alistair's got the AWP out this time. Posted up on door.
It's a very slow round from both teams.
Yeah, this is what I was saying, you know. Grayhound, I remember them playing Vertex before, and they were definitely doing a lot of this kind of thing, running the clock down a lot, taking their time. There's the outside wall of smokes. Keep an eye on Ins' movement, and whether anyone joins him, it is actually going to be reasonably heavy through outside. Not only Ins back of Annex there, but 3 players joining up with him, and Alistair being left alone in lobby on his lonesome.
Addict, if he finds 2 here, that's great for Vertex. No one's going to be clearing him immediately. There are those 2 that we're looking for. And with 30 seconds to go to try and establish a bomb plant, this is where things could get a little bit problematic for Grayhound, though they do have a little bit of a later lurk in Alistair to be able to potentially activate things over to the ramp. PZ, very narrow focus, but the timing, it's going to betray him at the moment. Again, though, Pilski, it's Hazard, who I thought was going to be Able to find that one. Apparently not. Alistair, too quick. 10 seconds. If you could deny a plant here, that would be the round. You can see the stampeding coming out from Brace and Malta. Decon to be smoked off. The swing out from double doors, though. It's protected. 4 seconds. Brace, he can't deny it as Vexite takes him out through the smoke. And that is map point secured for Grayhound.
That's classic from them, isn't it? Running the clock all the way down, just hitting some ridiculous shots, running it all around the map. Addict doubles down from that secret position, puts VERTEX in a winnable spot, and you can see that the individuals on Grayhound just taking matters into their own hands. Vexite calls the audible, starts charging straight through warehouse. You can see VERTEX scrambling to defend lower. You even had a player rotate down vent as at the same second that Vexite had already decided to work back through ladder base. PZ gets completely blindsided. VERTEX just not being well drilled enough at this point in the game with how tight this game has been. Fair bit of pressure on the line. Not recognizing what's clean, what's dirty. And that's going to end up costing them a round like that, which comes all the way down to the wire. I mean, it was doable if they denied that plant. But Grayhound are able to get it done. Now they're going to stack on the pressure. Map point here. First map of the grand final.
Yep, no mistakes can be made for VERTEX, Pilski.
Pretty slow round again here for Grayhound. Seems to be their choice of pacing at the moment. Inns again going to be left on the outside lurk. Alistair looking for a pick on outside. Grayhound not really doing a whole lot of anything. See a PZ on a deep line on radio here. Looking for a pick, being a little bit more aggressive on the ult, but not over aggressive. This is where we wonder what the mid to late round for Grayhound looks like with a minute on the clock. They've left Inns on outside on his lonesome, grouped up in lobby.
They've also held a lot of their utility here as well.
Just a singular warehouse smoke to help Inns creep up outside. Oh, it's gone on the roof. Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's a bit of a misplay. All things considered, that's false information. And In's the only way he can make use of this smoke is to try and creep in it, potentially catch some timing against Addict, who might have to shift focus on towards the site with the explosion that is about to happen from the Hounds. But if you can find Inns, that's his job done and dusted. And it's on to Malta and Brace on the side itself. PC is here for the kill on towards Vexite. And it's all coming up for VERTEX at the moment. The flash on in. Liazz is down. Sico will fall in pursuit. And it's on to Ali. A 1 versus 2. The bomb is in his possession. But a scurry down towards the B site. No smoke to protect him. He's trying to bait them in. The scope or the timing. He could have potentially shot there. Got that. Brought it into the 1 versus 1. But the plant is more of the position he was trying to find. The sidearm whipped out from PZ. And that will keep VERTEX in this game.
I feel like that's the second or third time we've seen Grayhound miss utility on this T side of Nuke. That smoke on top of warehouse, definitely not ideal. You wanted to see Inns have the full wall of smokes there and be able to activate a little bit earlier than he did in that round. Not sure if the idea was for him to take contact first on outside or whether he wanted the rest of Grayhound to make space on lobby and he can kind of creep through and find some impact after. Either way, VERTEX crawl one step closer to pushing this to OT. MP9 thrown over to Brace. Money definitely on the shaky side here for VERTEX. They need a dub relatively cleanly here, or they're going to have some issues buying up fully in towards the next round. Won't be able to replace that AWP if they lose it. PZ already rotating into secret. Going to be looking for a pick in the early to mid round on outside here. Inns has been very routinely backside of Annex. He's going to be aware of that. Had Alistair on top of Silo before, but now he's rotated off here.
How long is this round's timer going to be exercised again for Grayhound? We've left it very close a couple of rounds in a row now.
This is stacked up in door. Looks like an uppers contact.
Brace is playing up on Mustang as well. Incendiary and a HE grenade as the damaging utility for the MP9. Might be a better place to use that util to try and assist his teammates with their rifles ready. And here comes that hit for Grayhound through the door. Putting out their utility. The Molotov to CT vent starting to creep on out. In's going to be playing a little bit later yet again to keep Addict entertained. See what Malta Race can do on this site. Malta down to 31 HP. A great flash in. It's actually a team flash, which is very problematic. However, they're standing and delivering at the moment. Once again, it's just down on towards Alistair for a 1 versus 3. 20 seconds. The bomb not on his back either, but it's Hazard to remove his head from his shoulders. And Pilski, we're getting full rounds of regulations here in this series.
Yeah, this is really reminding me of the O's Masters final last year. I feel like I'm watching the same game again. It's like Grayhound on this T side, you know, are just running the clock down, taking it super slow, leaving it to the last couple of seconds, and VERTEX are not having any of it. Not cracking under the pressure. Able to lock down these sites time and time again. PC playing in front of multiple Molotovs.
Oh,
Great catch straight on the forehead from Inns. It's going to head that one into the goalie.
oh, Hazard's going to be boosted up on this box as well. It's just spotting for some information. Addict, I don't know if that gun barrel is going to be betraying him at the moment. Is that AK-47 of him? Feel like these duels between Addict and Inns are pretty paramount if they're done early.
Again, it's just even die by the 1-4 here for Grayhound. Addict really heavily looking for Inns here. Over towards credit. Inns biding his time. I think he's found the timing. Addict now swapping around towards Unbreakable.
Oh, he's been seen. It's all going to come down to the timing again. If Inns can take him out nice and early, or if he wants to get a little bit more hungry, try and find some more frags on that upper site that has really been a thorn in Greyhound's side these past couple rounds.
Yeah, they're just going to contact upper. Inns has threaded the needle. Going to have a freebie kill onto this player on hut. And that's going to be the explode towards upper. Brace swivels. Addict gets picked on Annex.
That is massive from Vexite. They know where PZ is. He's done and dusted. This is looking to be the nth hour round that Greyhound were looking for. Alistair jumping with his knife out. Hazard in the lobby. An upgrade to the AK, but this is a 1 versus 4 that he has to try and navigate to perfection. So far, it's looking good, but is he going to expect a player up on top of the hut? He's not. Liazz is going to be there for the close. Hazard did manage to actually find Sico there, so a pretty good attempt at a 1 versus 4. But nevertheless, here, Pilski at 16-14. It's Greyhound, 1 map away from IEM Dallas.
Yeah, maybe too slow of a start in the first half, unfortunately for VERTEX. Like a 12-3 half.